Early impressions of Drake. Look, I mean, he has a lot to work on, but I have no doubt that he'll put the time in. So, I know you guys saw him out. Well, you didn't see him out here yesterday, but he was here all night trying to get on the same page as everyone else. So.
The New England Patriots are entering a new era with rookie quarterback Drake Maye, and we've gotten our first look at him during Patriots minicamp. And so far, he looks the part and could be on track to potentially start week number 1. There has been numerous clips that have surfaced from Patriots practice, but the first one I want to show is Drake Maye finding Juju Smith-Schuster on a deep corner route. The Patriots have done a lot this offseason to add some talent into their wide receiver core, but I think it's fair to argue that Juju might be the most proven wide receiver on the roster right now, and he'll likely be the starter in the slot for the Patriots this year. So I think Maye building some chemistry with him before the season begins could be pretty beneficial. Jalen Reagor was also a recipient of a beautiful pass from Drake Maye. I don't think Reagor has a great chance to make the final 53-man roster or a guy that gets a ton of offensive snaps next year. I guess he could contribute on special teams, but regardless, the Patriots coaching staff has Maye working with every single receiver on the roster right now. But we also saw a deep connection with Jaheim Bell, the new rookie tight end out of Florida State. I'm going to be interested to see if Bell does have a role on this offense next year. The Patriots tight end room is fairly deep with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper as the top 2 guys, but Bell did prove to be a pretty reliable and athletic tight end at the collegiate level. So at the very least, there is some talent there. Another one of my favorites was Drake Maye going to the corner of the end zone to Kayshon Boutte, another guy that does have a lot of talent. He was picked in the 6th round in 2023 by the Patriots, and many people thought at the time that was a really good value pick. But after a troublesome rookie season, this new Patriots coaching staff is not going to be super committed to him if he does not show some flashes in camp. We saw a short snippet of Drake Maye connecting with Jalen Polk, the 2nd round pick for the New England Patriots, and Polk out of Washington had an amazing season last year, over 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. And really the book on Polk is he's a great jump ball receiver. We saw it time and time again with him and Rome Odunze, with Michael Penix Jr. all last season. He is a crafty route runner. He does have really good hands. I do question if he can be a number 1 wide receiver at the next level. He does not have great athleticism in terms of his speed and his burst. He doesn't have great size either, just over 6'1" and 200 pounds. But I just view him as a guy that's going to step in right away and be a good player. And for the Patriots who just need immediate help at the wide receiver position, I do think getting somebody that has a high floor could be beneficial for a young rookie quarterback. But the last clip I want to show, which was by far the most popular one I've seen on social media, was Drake Maye rolling out to his left, flipping his hips, and then throwing a no-look pass to yet again his tight end Jaheim Bell right on the sideline, perfectly placed. Bell got 2 feet in. It was a completed pass. But obviously the thing that everybody is talking about is the fact that Maye threw this by not even looking at him with a sidearm release. And anytime you see a quarterback pull something off like that, even in practice, it is pretty exciting. Now obviously I say this in every single one of my practice news recaps. You want to take everything that happens at these practices with a grain of salt, especially in June when we're not quite into training camp just yet. Most of the star players on either side of the ball are not participating. There's no pads, so these practices are basically just on air. But I still personally think there are some things you can take away from these practice sessions. For example, Maye's release, the velocity on the ball outside the numbers, his accuracy down the field, and then of course if he's pulling off sidearm and no-look passes, that's pretty noteworthy as well. But even outside of these clips, after day 1 of mandatory minicamp, Tyler Sullivan said that Drake Maye had a very impressive first day. During competitive drills, which is 11 on 11s and 7 on 7s, Maye completed 18 of 23 passes along with a few dazzling plays in the process. For example, he said that during 7 on 7s during one period, he completed all 3 of his pass attempts for touchdowns. The highlight of the day also came during this period when Maye was able to connect with tight end LaMichael Pedway, who climbed the ladder to make a leaping touchdown reception. And Jacoby Brissett, the veteran bridge quarterback the Patriots brought in to really mentor Maye, had some positive words to say about him after the first practice, saying every day he's gotten better. He's just constantly trying to find ways to get better, was making some nice throws out there. He continued saying he's been out here for what, 3.5 weeks, a month. He's made tremendous strides not only calling the plays, but footwork, throwing the ball, and his overall understanding of this offense. And that brings me into another topic I want to talk about, which is if Drake Maye should be the starter for week number 1. Currently, right now, he is listed as 2nd on the Patriots depth chart, and he is taking majority of the second team reps. Gerard Mayo Mayo has come out and said that doesn't really matter, don't look into it too much, but I do think that is to signal what is to come for the start of the season. The Patriots gave Brissett an $8 million deal up to $12 million if you count incentives. I don't think that is purely backup quarterback money, and Brissett has proven over the last few years of his career that he is a very solid quarterback, one of the best backups in the league, and he's more than capable to keep a team afloat and win some games. So at this moment, I do find it pretty hard to believe that Maye is going to take the opening snap for the Patriots this season, and I personally do believe that's the right way to go about things with him. I was a pretty big fan of Maye coming out of the draft process. I had him as my number 2 quarterback right behind Caleb Williams. He's got pretty much everything that you want in the modern day NFL. Tremendous size, a great arm, great athleticism. I mean, he's the prototypical quarterback that every general manager looks for, but there still are some pieces of his game that does need development. For example, his footwork was a huge talking point for critics. Many times if he got under pressure, was forced to speed up his process, his footwork would get a little bit sloppy, and then that would result in terrible accuracy down the field. And while we have seen quarterbacks be able to improve that areas of their game, like for example Josh Allen, there's a ton of other quarterbacks that have been unable to do so. So like every single NFL draft pick, Maye does come with some risk, but just his ceiling and what type of player he can become did make him worth that 3rd overall pick. But that does make new head coach Gerard Mayo, new quarterback coach TC McCartney, and new offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt very, very important in the long-term success of Drake Maye. And with this being the first year of this new regime, I don't see any reason to rush Maye into action. You signed a solid veteran, gave him a decent amount of money, let him start the season. Outside of Maye's issues as a player himself, just being a rookie in the NFL is extremely hard. The speed of the game increases, the talent level increases, but also does the mental side. You're learning an entirely new offense that is way more complicated than any college system. So I think the best case scenario for the Patriots and their organization is to let Jacoby Brissett start the first half of the season, maybe a little bit more than that, then let Drake Maye step in and finish the year and gain some valuable experience. I mean, I think even depending on how the season is going, the Patriots could wait until week number 14, their bye week, to then insert Maye into the starting lineup and then let him start the last 4 games of the season and just see how things go. I'm not a huge believer in this Patriots team next season. I would be pretty shocked if they do not finish 4th in the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills have won the division each of the last 4 seasons. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets both have really good rosters and proven veteran quarterbacks. And honestly, it's supposed to be that way. The Patriots are on different timelines than all 3 of those teams. They're all in win now mode. The Patriots are just kind of entering this new rebuild. And if you take a look at what they did this offseason, it kind of confirms that. The Patriots did not go out and spend all of their cap space on some big time free agents. They spent most of their big money just bringing back a couple of their own key players and then really just signing cheaper veterans to 1 to 2 year deals to patch up the roster on different areas of the roster. Mike Owinu was probably the top priority for the Patriots this offseason, and they brought him back on a 3-year, $57 million deal. They brought back 2 pass rushers, and Anthony Jennings and Josh Uche, and then Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry also both got 3-year extensions. So it was important for the Patriots organization to keep some of the current veterans on this roster as they enter a new era. But in terms of their actual biggest free agent acquisition, it was running back Antonio Gibson, who they gave a 3-year, $11.25 million deal with a maximum value of $17.25 million. So yeah, that should pretty much sum up the Patriots free agent plan. Their highest paid player not on their current roster was a backup running back in the year 2024. I'm not even trying to say Gibson is a bad pickup. He's one of the best receiving backs in the league, but the fact that he was the biggest addition in terms of contract value this offseason, I do think kind of points to what the Patriots model was this offseason. They want to keep the roster relatively young and cheap and see what they can get out of the young players on this team. I already mentioned their first 2 picks in the NFL draft, but in round 3 and 4, they addressed the offensive line, getting Caden Wallace out of Penn State and Layden Robinson out of Texas A&M, 2 guys that could potentially find their way on the field in year number 1. And the Patriots offensive line is going to be very fascinating to watch next season. They've been doing a lot of mixing and matching during minicamp, and there's going to be a lot of key camp battles in training camp that does decide some of these positions. I think if Cole Strange is healthy, he will play left guard. I think David Andrews is a safe bet at center, and Mike Owinu will find a place on the right side of the offensive line, whether it's right guard or right tackle. But could Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson or even Jake Andrews find a spot on the offensive line? Is Chukwuma Okafor really going to be their day 1 left tackle who they signed from the Pittsburgh Steelers? There's a lot of question marks there, but I do like at least that the Patriots did bring in a lot of new faces to an offensive line that really did struggle last season. And quickly, the last pick I want to talk about in the NFL draft is Javon Baker out of Central Florida in the 4th round. One of my favorite picks on day 3 of the NFL draft. Baker is a fantastic route runner and does have big play ability, and getting yet another player that can separate down the field, I think is going to be a huge plus for Drake Maye once he does finally step in under center. But I want to know what you think about Drake Drake Maye and if you think he should start week number 1. Do you think getting the full season experience is valuable? Or do you think Jacoby Brissett should start week number 1 and let Drake Maye continue to develop? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on my next one.